All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great edition of Racers News Network Live. We got joining us a bunch of different people tonight because there's some really awesome racing that's coming up this coming weekend. One at Lebanon Valley, the Twin 10Ks, plus another race they're having on Friday. We're going to dive into that with Gary in just a few minutes, but also obviously the Uncle Buck's Pig Roast down at Cecil County is this coming weekend as well. Joining us later is going to be Rob Keister from Mid-Atlantic 90 Association, and Miss Ashley Dunhauser is going to be coming on with us as well, which I am told is a honor and a privilege because the Dunhausers don't do a whole lot of interviews, and she's coming on to talk to us. But first of all, Racers News Network brought to you live every Monday night at 7 o'clock by Straight Line Performance and Automotive. The man, the myth, the legend, that is Peter Sanka. So thank you, Pete, and thank you, Straight Line Performance, for being a part of our show every week. Pete's off on vacation and will be coming back in 2 weeks from tonight. So looking forward to having my little buddy back. But for now, we're going to jump right into some Twin 10Ks and some other stuff you guys got going on. And it sounded like the purse had jumped up a little bit. Is that right, Gary, for Friday?
The Friday night, it all started out, well, usually we do the high roller and the low roller races, and we started out with 16 cars. We usually do 2 16-car fields, or should I say 3 16-car fields. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants 32-car fields. And guess what happens? Double the money. So we're up to $6,000 for dragsters, $6,000 for door cars, and the low rollers still at 16 cars because at some point you got to cut it off a little bit and let the others run for their money. Based on that, if we lose a few cars, we make the adjustment for the cash, but somewhere between 5,500 and 6,000 per class just to start the weekend off.
Wow, just a tiny little warm up, right?
Yeah, that's all. Come on, drivers get in there by 3 o'clock. We'll get them on the track by 5, get their one-time trial, and then off we go to the races, and putting that mildly, because $350 to enter. And I always say it's there's a different look in the eyes when they're going after cash, especially Friday night for 6,000.
That's awesome. So I know there's a little bit of history behind this event. Why don't you dive into that a little bit and kind of bring us up to where we are today?
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Vince today about it. Vince Mussolino. Everybody knows Vince. We got chatting, and I says, boy, I think it's 12 years now. He started this 12 years ago with Billy Caprera of FX Caprera, Trailer Sales, and all the different dealerships that he has from Watertown on up. And they started something special. They, let's do something big money, bring it to Central New York. And it just snowballed from there. And every year it's been a great success, whether rain or shine, we get the race in. Vince is like a mastermind to this. I don't mean to blow up his head. I know he's sitting there enjoying every minute of this because, as he said, he's only got a face for radio. But he's a great guy. He's all about the driver and putting out a big purse like that. So here we are, 11, 12 years later, and we had to venture out and find a bigger venue. And here we are at Lebanon Valley.
I have to say personally, my Lebanon Valley has been a track that I grew up going to. Obviously, I'm from New Hampshire, as I told you the other day when we talked, and I'm just a short distance from New England. But going back and forth to New England Dragway and Lebanon Valley always had kind of an old school feel to it, and I was really surprised when I made my way back to see the difference of how it's changed from when I was a little kid.
And Wayne runs a tight ship and a good ship, and that's a great track with great operators. The facility, hands down, they run a great operation. So, we were told, because usually Vince and myself are quite hands-on with the event, putting cars in the lanes. And Sue Bell, thanks to Sue Bell, KB Performance, one of our sponsors, said, hey, look, you guys just answered 10K questions. We'll put them in the lanes, get them down the track. And that's our goal, is safety, efficiency, and handing out money at the end of the day.
Very cool. All right. So moving on to Saturday, well, actually, let's back up a sec. Sorry, my bad. Give us a breakdown of the schedule for Friday.
Well, Friday, first off, nobody's to be at the gate getting in until 3 o'clock. Nobody before that. If you choose to get there early, you can park across the street. Most drivers are familiar with the lot across the street. Once we get you into the track, our goal is hopefully to get you parked efficiently. I mean, there'll be plenty of parking. There is no reserve parking for the weekend, so that opens up to plenty of spots to choose from. After that, we ask that you come over behind the winner's circle, and we're going to be staged over there, Vince and myself, taking the money in for the weekend. But most importantly, we want to get the drivers who are going to be racing with us Friday night specifically to get their entry in, $350. We'll work on lanes, etc. But first car going down the track at 5 o'clock for the time trial. There'll be one time trial per class, and then we're going to run cars down the track. We got till approximately 10 o'clock to get finished. And if anybody knows us, we can make that happen if we have to, and only if we have to. We'll finish it Saturday morning. But I hope with good weather, the way the drivers respond, and the way the track operates, I have a really good feeling. With that and some test and tune along, we should be able to get everything in.
Very cool. Let's see. I'm just looking at one other computer here to see if anybody's got any questions yet. One of the things I did want to say is if you do have a question, tonight is the night to get your answer. So put it in the chat.
Yeah, because my fingers and thumbs are tired because I don't want to tell anybody, but I'm at work with my laptop, and whether it be there or I'm not texting while I drive, but on the way home, I field a lot of questions. I have no problem with that. I have no problem because I believe that's how you run a smooth operation, is getting all the questions answered prior to the race. I mean, you're going to have those common little questions here and there. I threw another thing out there, Chris, today, and boy, was that a big response. We're talking about what we call run for the money Saturday morning. The first time trial, the time trial Saturday morning, you put in $20. Whoever has the best package in the time trial wins the money. So why not just throw another twist in there, right, Chris?
So winner will take all on that.
Correct. But I add another twist because, of course, Vince calls me and says, "Hey, put your fork down. We got to talk." So, so I was trying to eat my steak, really a cheeseburger, but I was trying to eat my food, and he gets on the phone. He says, "I got something special. Let's throw this out there." Now he wants me to put it on the page and everything tonight. And if I'm talking too much, just let me know. I have a bad habit of doing that.
Oh, you're good.
Peter Biondo has offered a full weekend pass. That's a $900 to $950 worth $950, 4-day pass to the winner of that. So we have to decide whether we do $20 or whatever the fee to race, or we do race for the money, or you're going to race for an entry. It's a 4-day entry. It's racing for big money. It's one of his big flings that he does. So having the opportunity to be on this platform here, as well as getting it out tonight, I'm going to throw that out. We have to have an answer to him probably by some point tomorrow afternoon. So that's something we're thinking about doing. Like always, you get things thrown at you and you just try to handle them, get them taken care of as soon as possible.
All right. One question so far from the chat from James and Ayoka Brown. Do the alternates need to be there and enter with you on Friday?
I would say yes, because today was a fun day, bouncing names back and forth. And it does happen. Cars break. I know that last weekend was a great weekend, and I probably got 6 or 7 phone calls. Don't know if my car will be ready. I like to leave the name on the list because I know these drivers thrash. They thrash hard. They work hard to get to the track no matter what it takes. So I would say right now, I do have an opening in the door car high roller. And yes, I would absolutely say if you're an alternate, plan on being there Friday, and with hopes, and I'm going to say with hopes that you'll probably race, because I know this for a fact. When we did a 16-car field, there was always drivers who decided at the day of, when you're starting to sort out 350 and 350 and 50 at the gate. Hey, listen, times are tough. We understand that. It's your shot. If you get there and you're set up and ready to go and opening opens up, we're going to slide you into the alternate spot. So yes, if you're an alternate, I'm going to keep this posted and up to date every day until I'm driving there with Vince and riding. And I would say yes. I'll answer that again. Yes, as an alternate, be at the track Friday and prepare to go down the track at 5 o'clock.
Kayla Petrecki, what are the dates for that fling? If you know.
I was told that's open, so I'll have all that information tonight on the page. So please go to the Dewzen Products 10K page, and I'll have it on my page. Vince Mussolino will have information. One thing I like to do is make sure that information is out there. So I'm going to say, if I have my paper, 1 second. He said it's a 4-day entry for the weekend, and it is transferable. So if somebody were to win it and wanted to, let's just say, make a few bucks and give it to somebody else, they most absolutely can do that. But right now I was told it's a 4-day entry, but he didn't give me specifics on the date. I will get that answer for you tonight.
All right, fair enough. All right, moving on to Saturday. Actually, one more question about Friday. For those that aren't aware of what it is, why don't you break down the high roller and the low roller a little bit?
Okay, we have 32 dragsters, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with dragsters, or they call them the rail cars, and 32 door cars. So how that works is basically you're going off a ladder from the beginning, and you're going to be paired up, and we're going to send you down the track. Again, you enter with us behind the winner's circle for $350. For those two particular ones, it's $125 for the low roller. Low roller is 16 cars, open to any cars, which we had a lot of different, like we got dragsters, doors, etc. So we wouldn't be able to fill a 32 car field, plus the time restraints. We figured let's just keep that to 16. So that's kind of a mixed bag. That's for $1,500 to win. So that's not even a bad way to start the weekend. But basically we run off a ladder throughout the whole thing, pair you up. We asked the first couple times, you know, the cool down is cool down. We understand that, but we look at Wayne. Again, Wayne runs a really good operation and wants to try to get the track shut down by 10 o'clock. I believe we can do that if we get the response from the drivers. So it's going to come down to having a nice little cool down, get back in the lanes. We'll call you as we would any other time in any other classes. So again, it's a ladder type format. We'll have cars paired up. You'll know who you're running, dial-ins accordingly. And it's another opportunity. I know it's a lot of money, but it's also another opportunity to get a lot of shots at the track and put some money back in your pocket, because there will be round money. Runner up is $1,500, $500 to semis, and on down the line. So there's a good chance to get some of your money back regardless.
Very cool. All right, Saturday. Let's talk schedule.
I'm already done with Friday. I'm ready to go home. I'm pooped. So you really want to run Saturday? Okay. What do you got, Chris?
Tell me what you got for Saturday. Let's hear the schedule. Let's hear the master plan.
We start with coffee, and then we move on to our goal is to be on track by 9:30, one time trial, and go. Because by now you know what your car's doing. At this time of year, we find that we're fine. We run efficiently. That's $300. That's $200 a day, or $350 for the weekend. Most people get in for both races. What happens is, say this is not a ladder format. We're hoping for an abundance of cars. We'll call you into the lanes. We do it separate again, just kind of set up like the high roller. We'll run all rail cars together, and we'll run all, and I call them dragsters, and then we'll run all of the door cars together as long and as far as we can. Then once we have to, we mix them in together. So if we get down to so many cars and there's 6 of these and 6 of those, the reality is now you're racing each other. We go as far as we can with what we have. Also, I don't want to forget about the no box drivers. And no box is the same fee with a little bonus in there. So no box is paying $1,500 to win. But if you are the winner in the no box class, you will be inserted into the 10K that day. So you win. Now, I'm just going to throw numbers at you. I know these guys and ladies are pretty sharp at listening when it comes to numbers and money. When you win that and you get inserted into the 10K, that could be 10 cars left. So you have just as good of a chance as a foot breaker as the next guy. Because I will tell you, 2 years in a row, it was won by that driver. Gary Rolfe Jr. and Terry Lee were both winners coming out of the no box class into, it's like a pro and super pro style. So you got this foot breaker who's got an open trailer who thinks I ain't got a shot. We insert him and bang, he plows through the next 10, 15 cars, takes home the big check and a few extra dollars. But again, you got your no box with a chance to get into the box class if you win, but there's still a lot of money involved there, and that's based off a car count. The more cars, more money. And the 10K, we want to be on track, first time trial, and there's usually not a lot of wait time. You can double enter. So if you choose to double enter, we color code the entries. So if you're a blue and a yellow, you don't have to, you'll be so far apart from yourself, you don't have to worry about it, because we've all seen how some of these larger races go. And that's exactly how we've seen a guy go to the finals and race himself. So that is very much possible at the 10Ks.
Very cool. And of course, on Saturday, as usual, everybody's familiar with it. It's got to be wrapped up by 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I have a good feeling how we're going to, if the weather's good and everybody, again, it comes down to these wonderful drivers who I believe you're going after a lot of money. So it's all about them responding to the call, getting into the lanes, following the direction. And we usually do very well. And if we end up with 6, 7, 8 cars left over, we'll finish it Sunday morning, and then we'll race until the cows come home on Sunday.
All right.
It's how it works.
Very cool. All right. So obviously next in line, Sunday morning, after everybody peels you up off the pavement because you passed out somewhere because you got lost in your direction. What's going on Sunday?
Well, I probably have to drag Vince's butt out of bed, but well, we'll be ready. Sunday morning, same thing. Everybody already more or less be prepared. Say those people who did not race or couldn't make it Saturday can enter in Sunday's race. They will get one time trial, and everybody they get 2 time trials, and then we're going to get up and go racing. Same thing, 9:30. I hope that time is correct. We're going to base it off what Wayne wants. If Wayne says 9, we'll start at 9. We don't care. If he says 8:30. Last year we did that. We knew rain was coming on Sunday. We had cars going down the track at Esta at 8:30 in the morning, which is unheard of. But by 11 o'clock, everybody was on their way home. And I believe a Lebanon Valley driver won that last year. I'm not positive. I lose track of gray Mustangs. There was a bunch of them out there. So, but we'll be on track we'll say by 9:30 to be fair at the latest. And we'll be heading, again, if we have to finish up something from Saturday, those will be the first drivers into the lanes, finish them up, and get right on to racing in the Sunday's race. And again, handing out another $10,000. There's a lot of money at stake this weekend in Lebanon Valley.
Very cool. Well,
I gotta lick my fingers and be ready to start putting envelopes together, because that's the most
exciting.
exciting.
This is all cash. This isn't Visa gift cards.
We take cash in, we take cash out. Same thing for the run for the money, possibly the Biondo entry. We're only taking cash so we can pay cash. That's the key. I mean, if people decide they want to do the 4-day entry, we'll do that. But we're going to take the money in, and I'll talk to Vince, and we'll figure out what we're going to do. It's probably going to take care of the $900 entry for that.
Very
So
cool.
we worked on that. I'm gonna get that out there. Not sure how we're all gonna, figure all that out, but it's gonna be worth their while, no matter how you look at it.
Very cool. Now, just a note for Saturday, I'm gonna have 2 cameras set up. I'm gonna set up one video camera shooting through YouTube Live in the tower at the starting line burnout area. And then I'm going to be wandering around doing other live stuff throughout the pits, the stands, as much as I can get up in the stands, which isn't much, but I'm going to try. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think the drivers deserve that. The drivers deserve the recognition and the understanding that they're the ones that made the trip there. They're the ones that take the time. I mean, we put the race together. Yes, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, but it's not. It's for them. It's for each and every one of them. We thank Wayne and his crew. We thank KB Performance and the Bell family, especially Dewzen Products. I mean, we've had sponsorships along the way, but they've been on board the whole time, whatever we need. And then Peter Biondo to step up too. It can only get better, and it has, and it's because of the driver and the track operators and everybody, the cheeseburger guys and everything. So hopefully the kettle corn is there, because I love their kettle corn.
And don't forget, the breakfasts at Lebanon Valley are pretty good too.
Yes. I'll have to get Vince to buy me one, because boy, I don't know. But it all sounds good. Wayne, again, they have a great operation out there.
Oh, absolutely.
So hopefully all the fuel and everything, everybody knows Lebanon Valley, and they really do run a great operation.
And they have some of the best prices on VP race fields as well.
Good.
So
That's something I want to get out there this week.
Kayla has another question. How does the reaction time ladder work for the Friday race?
That's going to be, I'll have to get with Vince. I believe he's going to be doing that based off of reaction. And that's something he handles. I'm kind of the promoter guy as far as the fingers on the computer and making everything come together. And he handles all that. And I hope he jumps on here and is able to answer that question, because you see the questions I don't. But maybe it'll pop up on my screen in 2 seconds. But I can say that he runs it off of reaction time. I'm almost 100% positive. So I will have that answer tonight.
So, I'm thinking his battery died, because I heard a beep beep and then a beep beep and then a nothing. So we're gonna hang tight for just a couple of minutes, see if he makes it back. Rob Keister and Ashley Dunhauser are going to be joining us to talk about Uncle Buck's Pig Roast at 7:30. So like I said, Saturday, Lebanon Valley, I'm going to have one of my cameras set up for YouTube Live in the tower on the first floor on the far side of Sue's office in what I call the other room, the trophy room. It's going to be on the starting line water box area. I'm not 100% sure of how wide of a screen it is. Or pan or whatever. And then I'm going to be wandering around doing some stuff in the pits, taking some pictures. So you see me, you can't miss me. I'm in my little buzz around, and I have the oh crap with the handicap guy falling out of his wheelchair license plate on the front of it. So looking forward to it. I always enjoy Lebanon Valley. It's going to be fun. So let's see. Just check here. Let's see. Bear with me, everybody, for just a moment, please. Yeah, right. There's that. Oh, there he is coming back. All right, just unmute yourself again, Gary.
Sorry about that. Of course,
That's okay.
phone calls come in and I hit the wrong button. I apologize for that. Well, I never
That's
did
all right.
it so fast. I'm an expert now, Chris. Wow.
You're a master. You want to take over for me?
No. I got enough on my plate this weekend. So I apologize for that. I'll have an answer about that reaction time tonight.
Let me just see. Yeah, that was the last question. But yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend. I've already been checking the weather. The weather looks great. Looks like it's going to be in the 80s and partly sunny. Like you said a bunch of times, Wayne runs a great ship out there. He really does. For a small track, they put on a hell of a show whenever somebody rolls into town.
Yeah, and absolutely a reminder that it's all 8th mile. It's going to be an 8th mile show. Again, 8th mile, 350 to enter for the weekend, 200 for a day pass. It's going to be 15. Well, I got to remember all the pricing. I usually have it in front of me, but it's going to be $50 for Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the gate. And I've got everything on the webpage, so it's not a bad idea to head over to the Dewzen Products 10K webpage, the Facebook page. It's I think it's 15, 25, and 50, something of that nature. I forget the numbers. I got so many numbers in my head right now. But yeah, we want to make sure that people know when you come to the gate fee is $50 for the weekend. There is 3 different prices, and $50 to do a test and tune only for Friday night.
One question that I missed, I apologize, Neil, it got bumped down. Neil Jameson wants to know any discount on the weekend double entry, or is it $700?
$700. Now,
$700.
if you're nice to Vince, that's up to him. But I know it to be $700 double entry. And you can, if you're a double entry, you can pay $40 for the run for the money, and you get 2 shots at it. I got asked that many times today. Well, if I'm double entered, do I get 2 shots at it? Yes.
All right, no problem, Neil. You're very welcome.
Well, maybe I'll like talk to Vince. Well, not if you're doing double entry, we'll make that $35. But right. I mentioned money now. He probably quivered at the house. So, but I don't want to make that commitment. But I think that's maybe a fair thing to do. So we'll make it fair for everybody. That's the one thing I know Vince and how he does things. He really wants to make sure the drivers are taken care of.
Very cool. Well, like I said, I mean, I checked the weather. The weather looks like it's going to be fabulous. I'm looking forward to it. I always enjoy going out there. Wayne's a great guy. Sue is awesome. Carol and Dan, some of the best people you'll ever meet. And I'm make sure I come over and say hello to you and Vince. Of all the times I've talked to him, I've never actually met him. But like I said, we'll have a couple cameras going, doing some live video, and I'll be cruising around talking to people, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, don't have any money in your hand. He'll take it. You'll be entered the race, so you got to be careful. We're ready to go.
I'll throw down with somebody with my little buzz around.
Yeah. Vince will be the big Italian guy next to me, the quiet one. No,
the quiet one. Yeah.
No, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you getting us on the show. We do run a snowmobile racing circuit, but we'll save that for another time in the winter time.
We will be talking about that. We had spoke about that the other day, and definitely that's something we'd be down to being involved in.
We don't want to talk about snow right now, though. No snow.
No, we don't need to rush this. We still got like 6 or 8 weeks of nice weather to go, so let's enjoy it while we can.
We have had nice weather.
We have started off kind of crappy, but it smoothed out. So
yes, it did.
All right, Gary. Well, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out. And like I said, I'll make a point to come find you at some point on Saturday. But I'm definitely looking forward to it.
That's awesome, Chris. Thank you very much on behalf of me and Vince Mussolino.
You're very welcome. Dewzen LLC for the Pettit family, friends of ours. that's awesome that they've been a longtime participant in your event. The Beyondos, I mean, what the hell else can you say about the Beyondos except they're an amazing group.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of the week. Hopefully it'll be somewhat sane till Friday afternoon or Friday morning when you guys roll in.
I'm gonna try. We'll be fine. We've done this before. Thank you, Chris, very much.
All right, man. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right, my friend. Take care.
All right. Have a great night, Gary.
You too.
All right. Like I said, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 Valley Dragway, the Dewzen LLC, twin 10Ks, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and then a different race on Friday. Got to be there by 3:00 on Friday. Pay up, enjoy, have some fun. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So while we're waiting for Rob and Ashley, every time my phone lights up, I look down at it. So I do apologize. But why don't we run through some national event results from this past weekend at Topeka. Top Fuel, Antron Brown over Steve Torrance. Funny Car, another guy who's on a roll now. Bob Tasker III over John Force. Pro Stock, Troy Coughlin, 2 in a row, I think that is now, over Greg Anderson. Pro Stock Bike, Joey Gladstone, also got 2 wins now as well. Top Alcohol Dragster, Julie Natas over Mike Coughlin. Top Alcohol Funny Car, Shane Westerfield over Sean Bellemure. Comp Eliminator, Doug Engels over Bruno Massel. Double up in stock and super stock. Tyler Castle took home the Wally in both. Super stock, he defeated Greg Stanfield. Stock Eliminator, he defeated Tyler Bohannon. Super Comp, Austin Williams over Jessica Bagacki. Super Gas, Don Nichols over Bo Butner. Super Street, Jordan Pratt over Dell Hall. Top Sportsman, presented by Vortex Superchargers. Todd Stahlbomber over Greg Lair. And Top Dragster, again, presented by Vortex Superchargers. No surprise, Anthony Bertazzi over Paul Nero. So congratulations. Oh, sorry, I missed Promod. Justin Bond over Ricky Smith. Congratulations, everybody at Topeka. Oh, there we go. All right, so we now have joining us the man who is known as the hardest working man in all of .90 racing, and the person that I don't think I've ever spoken to in my life, Ashley Donhauser.
I don't know if Ashley's here or not. They might have stood me up. I'm not too sure.
No, she's on the. I got her on the phone.
Oh, okay.
She's here. She said. She said, "Have no fear, Rob. She is here." So what's going on, kids?
Well, we're playing a little bit of a little party, I guess, this weekend, unless you'd like to say at Jim Halsey's campground, known as Cecil County Dragway. 29th annual Uncle Buck Pig Roast. An event that everybody loves to come to. That's a .90 racer. Cecil is always one of those tracks that are very near and dear to everyone's heart, especially to the Donhauser gang. It's their home track. They're not too far away from there. Ash, I guess we're about an hour, from Cecil.
Not even. We're only about 30, 40 minutes away.
Okay. So I guess considering the way like ACO is for me, I'm 35 minutes from ACO. That's their distance to go to Cecil County. And they're in Bel Air, Maryland. So that was their home track growing up, and where George and Uncle Buck and Linda and Ashley all grew up and raced, and that's kind of where the pig roast started at. So now we go into the 29th year, I believe it is, that we have on record. I know Uncle Buck, Ronnie Harple, has done plenty of barbecues beforehand, but I think what we can trace back to is 1993 is when he actually threw together and put the pig on the spit and roasted it, and it became a tradition.
Now, for the 6 or 7 years that I've known you, Rob, I didn't realize till this past week that the Uncle Buck in Uncle Buck's Pig Roast was actually came from the movie Uncle Buck.
Well, so George, I mean, we don't actually, I guess, Ashley will laugh on this one. Is trying to get words out of George sometimes it can be few and far between. He loves doing interviews, and so does Ashley and Linda. But that's where we kind of believe it came from. George actually gave Ronnie the name Uncle Buck, and we kind of figure around that time is when the movie Uncle Buck came out. And if anybody's ever seen Uncle Buck with John Candy, I mean, he was always cooking. I mean, anybody can remember the big gigantic pancake he made on the table for the kids that he was watching. And I guess that's kind of where it became, I guess, where the nickname kind of stuck. I mean, I can't think of any other reason that George would call Ronnie Uncle Buck, but I mean, unless there's some kind of backstory that I don't know about. But I would kind of think that's probably where it came from.
How about it, Ashley?
No, he's right. That's exactly where it came from.
All right.
I guess he just saw the similarities and the personalities, and I have to laugh because that movie was just on the other night and I was watching it, and just how they, tell stories, how funny they are. They just, very, very similar to each other.
Very cool. Very cool. So 29th year, you said, Rob?
Yep, 29th year, I believe 1993 is when it all came to light, I guess you're saying. It was probably maybe at the time it was just the Northeast Super Gas Association, was run by Tony Gambardella and his gang. So I mean, a lot of the people are still with the series that were running it then. I mean, of course, they're a lot more older and a lot more grayer, and but for the most part, that's what it was. And I'm not sure if Ashley or Linda has pictures of probably the first pig roast. I know Tony has said a few times that he was going to give me some pictures of the first pig roast that they did. But when you look at the field out in Cecil County, I mean, there was probably maybe 40 people in a lawn chair sitting out enjoying the pig, and the pig was probably maybe 60 pounds, 80 pounds. It was probably like a real small pig. I mean, and I think this year is going to be the largest pig I think we ever had. So, Ash, how big's the pig going to be?
263 pounds.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
And
lot of
last
food.
year we almost ran out. And a lot of it is, it's grown so much. I mean, because the fact is that not only do you have your racers that show up, you have your families that do. I mean, if there's one thing like like Keith Mayers, we all know Keith, where it was, but Etta, his wife, she doesn't come to the racetrack very often with him, but she says the one event that I do come every year is the pig roast, with that, because of the camaraderie and the family and all the friendships and stuff that goes on there. And you get racers from all over the place. I mean, we've had racers from as far as California. We had Hollis Collister, which was he was a Division 7 super gas racer. He won the division one year and got the gold card. And he told his wife Bobby, I think Bobby Joe was her name, said, we're going to go on world tour. And that's what they did. They went and they traveled the United States, went around, went up to Lebanon Valley actually for the division race. And I believe the way it was mapped out, I think it was like Lebanon Valley, week off, and then or the pig roast, and then it was the Cecil County divisional. And Hollis got talking to Tommy Goldman and says, what is there to do, in between this, Lebanon Valley and Cecil County for me and the family to do? Like, we don't. And Tommy says, why don't you come to Cecil County and run the pig roast with us? And he was like, what's that? So he showed up, came, and if anybody knows Hollis's car, it was I believe a 27 T Roadster, had surfboards on the back of it, and he ended up, I think, winning one of the days that was there. And he, like I said, he was a tough customer out of Division 7. We've had racers from as far as Division 2 down in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, I think maybe even Canada also have come and partaked in the pig roast. And I mean, it's an event that, everybody, and it's to each his own. I mean, it's, there's two different types. I mean, just like you put the post up today, about who's going to Lebanon Valley and who's going to Cecil. It's two different types of demographics that you're hitting. You have the .90 guys that are going to go to Cecil, and you have your bracket guys that are going to go up to Lebanon Valley. And of course, you're going to have a couple of .90 guys that race up there on a regular basis, or it was that are going to run, Vince's program. But I mean, it's going to be split down. And I mean, last year I think we had our probably biggest car count, which was 92 cars, or almost 100 cars, I believe. And it was a race on Saturday, and Sunday ended up getting rained out. But me and George always joke that we should give tickets out to everybody at the pig roast so we can actually see how many heads we actually have there, because every time you take a picture, there's just more and more people, and the lines get longer and longer. And then this year, last year, we had a liquor company called White Tiger Distillery, which was Linda, which is Linda's favorite pouch drinks, stuff called it was called Peach Pecker was the name of the pouches. And I reached out to them and said that we love have you guys come and introduce them to your products. And they showed up, came with their little travel trailer, sold out of there, and actually sold out of their products. And I reached back out to them again this year, and unfortunately they are going out of business. They I guess either I'm not sure exactly what happened or whatever it is, but they unfortunately going out of business. So I did some research along the way and started looking up some places in the Maryland area, and I found another company out of Pasadena, Maryland, called Blind Tiger Mobile Bar. And it's a girl named Erica. They own 2 restaurants down in Baltimore, and she started up this it's an all-woman owned bar. It's her 3 kids and her husband, and she only hires females, and it's all run by females. And she buys old trucks. So she has a horse trailer. She has a Ford pickup truck, and then she has an old, I think, milk truck, I think it is, that she's converted into a bar tap mobile area. And then she actually just bought a what they call it, a tiki cart, I think it is, tiki cart, or was used in China. And she just bought one of those, and she's converting that into a bar also. So I called her up one day. We got chit-chatting for about an hour, and she says, I love the cause that you're doing, and I love that you're doing it for somebody who's passed away from pancreatic cancer, and it's near and dear to my heart. And she says, I never knew there was a racetrack even in Cecil County, Maryland. So we worked some deals out. They got all the paperwork over to Jim and Chad over at Cecil, and they'll be joining us Saturday night to do some drinks for all the racers and the people at the Bel Air Moose Lodge and all that fun stuff. So
very cool. So Ashley, what is the prep time leading up to this event every year for you and everybody else who is part of it?
Well, I'd say the pig has probably been ordered for at least a couple months. We called and checked up on it last week, and it's good to go. It's been a lot easier for quite a few years because we have a lot of help from our friends, family, the Bel Air Moose Lodge, and probably leading up to it, I would say a good couple weeks. My dad's going to be off this Friday to, get everything loaded. He drives actually his truck and the cooker himself, so he has to go pick up the pig with my mom, get that all loaded up because it has to get them pretty early on Saturday morning. But other than that, I mean, with everybody else helping, it normally just takes a couple weeks, to get set up and, everything under control and organized.
And pretty much everybody throws addition to the pot, if you will.
They do. Yep.
yeah.
Dishes, sodas, beer, whatever they contribute. You know, it's been really good the last couple years with everybody contributing stuff.
Very cool. Now, are we allowed to talk about that thing that we spoke about the other day? Yeah.
We can. That's fine. We just have to let everybody know that it won't be until that Saturday and Sunday that we're going to be selling everything.
At Cecil County.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So if you look for Uncle Buck's Pig Roast, either on Google or on Facebook, you're going to see this little animated pig that says 2022 on it with the chef's hat and this goofy, there we go, right there. And if you really pay attention, the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see something vaguely familiar. Now, Ashley, I'm going to let you talk about that part of it and how that's going to work.
So basically, we tried out last year. A good friend of ours, Mary Beth. She's very good at designing T-shirts and doing things like that, and that's what she does for a living. And she did pig roast T-shirts for us, and they went over really well. A lot of people bought them. Everybody liked them. They were actually, I can't remember if they were actually at the track with us this year, but when they had heard about Will
Mary Beth.
accident at Cecil, they kind of, everybody got to talking, and my dad had the idea to make T-shirts again, but incorporate Will. So all of the proceeds are going to go to Will and his family from the T-shirts. So Mary Beth came up with the logo again and added the Will Strong in there. So that way he's certainly included, because any fellow super gas racer we want to see, you know, get better and, you know, as much help as he can get.
Very cool. That is awesome. When you sent that to me, and I was blown away, and that's why I didn't hesitate to say, yep, okay, I want to. So.
Yep, and she did a great job with the design. The pig looks great. I always have to say, you know, I always like a pig with personality, and she does a great job picking out personality.
The first time I saw that, I seriously busted out with a laugh. I was like, that just made me chuckle.
Yeah, it just fits my uncle so well, you know, with the personality of the pig, and I don't think you ever saw him without a smile on his face, so it fits him.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome. And, you know, like I said, to incorporate the Will Strong in that, and, you know, that's very, very cool. I like it a lot. So
yeah, it's a team. The whole day is a team effort. I mean, like I said, it from just the Downhousers, everything they do. You know, like, you know, George, you know, was able to win event this year at ACO, and you know, and it meant a lot to, you know, everybody and stuff like that. I mean, Ashley yelled at me because unfortunately I couldn't get a signal at ACO because the live feed was just so horrible there. So she kept on screaming at her mom because I wasn't going live to see her dad win, which kind of stunk. But you know, he won, you know, and it was a big thing. And he even told me, he says, you know, Rob, no matter what, if I quit racing tomorrow, he says, we will always have the pig roast. The pig roast will always go on no matter what. You know, no matter how it was, you know, he says the pig roast will always go on, and that will. I mean, that will go on for hopefully years to come and centuries to come, and until, you know, whenever, I guess maybe until we got, you know, just because it's such a team effort between the Donhausers, the Bel Air Moose Lodge that come over and help out, between cooking the pig, shucking the corn, cooking the French fries, doing the fried zucchini. And then, of course, every racer that brings a dish. I mean, you know, and we try to make it, you know, rather be just a family favorite, something that, you know, maybe that's been passed down in your family for years to come, or, you know, or just other things. I mean, like, you know, Chase Fonstock, who just got engaged at the last Cecil race where it was, he posted a picture on Facebook, I think yesterday or the day before, about out in Nervous Alley in the peach farm picking peaches, because she makes this banging peach dessert that is second to none. I mean, it is amazing, this dessert that she makes, and she was picking fresh peaches for the dessert. So I mean, it's a team effort. It's you know, it's it's an event that you have to come to and witness at least once in your life. And, you know, rather you're a .90 racer, a bracket racer, you know, just a guy driving a street car. I mean, it's Chris, you've been there twice. I mean, you know, and, you know, I think a lot of times you talk it up, and people don't believe it until they actually go there and then be like, holy smokes. Rob was really, he wasn't joking when he said, this is what the pig roast is all about.
There's two events that happen on Saturday of the pig roast. There's the pig roast, and then there's a little bit of racing that goes along with the pig roast. But the pig roast is definitely the better of the two, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I told Rob this before, if you leave Saturday night hungry, you got nobody to blame but yourself. He said, I know I've only gone twice. Hopefully next year will be the third time. I absolutely love the hell out of that event. You know, to me, it's worth the 10-hour drive from up here. And my favorite thing right there that Rob is holding up, the Piggy Trophy. I'm thoroughly convinced that the Piggy Trophy is going to outdo the Wally at some point in time. I have no doubt in my mind. Those are the coolest trophies going.
Yep. S&W Performance does a great job with their design. It's you know, after Ronnie's passing in 2012, you know, I was, and at the time, you know, when he passed away, I wasn't in charge of the Super Guys series at the time. Pete Luciano was, and I had just taken over the Super Comp series, I think maybe for a year, and Super Street wasn't even around yet. And you know, when I finally took over all three, I said to myself, I said, what can we do to make it actually be the Uncle Buck race? And I was thinking, and one day, I think it might have been either at one of the pig roast, and maybe it was Ashley or Linda or one of the Bel Air Moose Lodges. I looked around and I saw they were wearing the old gray T-shirts that Uncle Buck used to give everybody, and it said, you know, Uncle Buck's barbecue meat. You can't beat my meat. And it was a picture of the pig on the back there. And I said, that is the idea right there. And I went to S&W, and at the time, Mike Lenny and their design team, I gave them a picture of what the pig looked like on the back of the thing, and we, you know, we unveiled it. I can't remember how long we've had the pig now. Maybe 2015 was when we unveiled it. So it's been going on about 7 or 8 years now. So you know, it's a trophy that everybody likes, and you know, when you post something about it, they say, you know, my piggy's lonely and I want another piggy to go with them. And you know,
Don Bangs just commented he's going for number 3 this coming weekend.
And then last year, so Division I Super Comp champion Kevin Scholl came up to me and said, you know, Norwalk has the ice cream scoop, you know, and everybody goes there. Everybody goes to Norwalk. They want the ice cream scoop, and you know, because they want the dollar ice cream. And so we were thinking of ideas, because both of us are avid barbecuers, you know, rather it be, you know, he likes, you know, we joke sometimes that we're going to have a rib off once in a while, like who's going to have the better ribs. But one day we said to each other, we said, what would be better cool is that, you know, the barbecue has its own kind of like a other trophy to it. So I went online and went on to a couple of things, and I found one last year, and then this year was Revival Woodworking out of Lafayette, Louisiana. I gave them the design that Mary Beth gave to me, and then they came up with the custom cutting boards with the logo and design in it. And then it has the champion down the bottom there, Super Gas, Super Comp, Super Street of the year. So now you have your own custom cutting board, so you can put it in your trophy, you know, thing to go, like, you know, just like what would be the ice cream scoop at Norwalk. So now you have your own custom cutting board to go when you win the championship, or for the Uncle Buck. And then of course, you know, you get a big check, and you know, it's just, we want to make it special for the racers. We want racers to come. We know, like I said, just like you mentioned before, things are tough this year. I mean, gas is through the roof, part shortages. I mean, just trying to get parts sometimes is just, it's been a pain, and people are picking and choosing where they go. And, we want to make it so that when they go to a race, that when they leave, when they roll out that door, to go on, they go, hey, I had such a great time at this event. This will be on my calendar. If I only make one event next year, I want to make sure that it's it's the Uncle Buck or the Dave Stein Memorial or one of Rob's races. I mean, we have racers this year who are bypassing running the NHRA to run my series. I mean, because they have heard about it for so long, and they finally have just said, you know what, we want to see what all the hype is about with Rob's races. And, I mean, and they are Division I killers. I mean, Ed McClaife and William Pitts, I mean, they are guys who have been national dragsters, they've been Division I championships. They are bypassing the NHRA tour this year so that they can come run all my races, because, and I can't thank the racers enough for everything that they do, for towing there, for coming, for supporting it. I mean, I will say it till the day I'm no longer president. Without racers, you don't have a series. You don't have a series, you can't have a race. And that's exactly what it comes down to. And it's because people spend their hard-earned money to come and play and come and race with you. And you just hope you put a good show on for them. And that's, we're hoping to do that this weekend at Cecil. We're hoping to do that in 3 weeks at Maple Grove at the Dave Stein race. I mean, it's 2 races back to back that are in memory of two, a racer and a good crew chief that passed away way too early. And, we're just hoping that the cars come out and support it. And, I mean, the Dave Stein, we're throwing some big money that's not been heard of, in the .90 categories. I mean, I know I said something the other day. I said, people chuckle when they say 10 grand or 12 grand or it was the win. That's a bracket racer, because, honestly, the way big money bracket racing is now, 15, 20 grand is almost like a chuckle. It's almost like winning a 2 grander on a Saturday night at Lebanon Valley or ACO or something, because there's so many of them now. But for the .90 guys, there's not that opportunity to win big money. And, even if you do good at a division race, fighting with contingencies to get the contingencies is a headache. I mean, I will be, I never realized how much it was until I actually finally won one. And, it was great to finally get that Wally in my hand and you win whatever it was. But, I have to give props to 10K'S and Billy Carroll. Billy had a check in my hands a week and a half after I won my event, and had a check in my dad's hand after he won Cecil 6 days later. Every other company, unfortunately, right now, it's been a struggle, and we're going a month and a half of, from me winning one. And it's, I just feel like, I feel like we shouldn't have to fight for trying to get, $100 for a company that we're supporting, it's a shame,
I don't think I've ever asked you this question in the time that I've known you, Rob, but obviously you want all your races to be the most standout, kick-ass, unbelievable race that it can be. But is it fair to say that this event is the creme de la creme of .90 season? Is the one that really, I don't even really know how to put it, other than it's the best event in all of Mid-Atlantic .90 season. It's the U.S. Nationals of your season.
Uncle Buck?
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. The Uncle Buck every year when I go to make my schedule, the Donhausers are the only people I actually call to make sure they're not on vacation. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, I call Linda, and be like, listen, I got my hands, I know what the Division I schedule looks like. I know what the national event schedule looks like. I'm going to get with Jimmy over at Cecil in the next couple of weeks. I need to know when your guys' vacation is, because, I need to know when I'm going to schedule the Uncle Buck, because, to us, that it is our U.S. Nationals. It really, when it comes down to it, is our, it is the race that, is the race that everybody wants to come to. Everybody wants to win a piggy. Everybody, likes to have a good time. And that's really what it comes down to is having a good time, having a memorable experience,
Right.
between like I said, between the pig roast itself. Hopefully this year, I know I talked to Linda. Linda says she has plenty of the Chinese lanterns that we do the lighting of the lanterns for everybody that we've lost. We've, I think, bypassed it probably the past 2 years, either because of rain or just we forgot about it. But I think Linda says she has like tons of them. So hopefully we can get back to doing that this year. And like I said, it's giving people a memorable experience when they leave, just like we want to do at the Dave Stein in 3 weeks. Between the live bands we're going to have, we're having a pig roast also at the Dave Stein. And it's just, we want that racers to have that feeling of that they're spending their money, and they're spending their money in the heart in the right place I guess a hard-earned. They're spending their hard-earned money in the right place and having an enjoyable time. That it isn't like I just spent. Yeah, that they're not leaving the gate going, I just spent $300 where it wasn't. I had a horrible time.
Gotcha.
Really,
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Linda, what do you got in closing for us?
Well, pretty much Rob did a good job saying it all, and
I told you I got you, Ashley.
Oh, did I call? I think I said Linda. I apologize, Ashley.
that's okay.
I was looking at Linda's your mom, right? I feel like a fool because I've never met any of you. I do apologize for that. So I'm sitting here on my laptop to my left going Linda Donhauser, and then I'm looking at my phone and George is scrolling across the screen. I'm sitting here going, who the hell am I talking to now?
Yeah,
There's only one Linda. There's only one Linda.
George online or on a cell phone. It's probably going to have to be in person. I got volunteered to do this one. But
there's only one. Ashley will agree. There's only one There's only one Linda. There's only one Queen Bee.
Yes.
Very cool.
Nobody will take the place of the Queen Bee.
Everybody having a good time. I've always said, for years, I'm very lucky to have a dad like him because of how he races. You never know if he wins or loses because he always has a smile on his face, and he always has the best personality with everybody. He wants to make sure everybody has a good time, and whether it's cooking a little bit of food here and there for everybody, everybody will have to watch his face Saturday night because it's in memory of one of his best friends, and one of my mom's best friends, who actually she was friends with him before my dad was. So my dad's probably very grateful for my mom for introducing them. But he's always a partier, always having a good time, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of people help us with it. But he's a great racer. He's doing great this year. We've had a couple years of bad luck with the pig roast and not doing so well. So he's coming back for that third pig this year, and hopefully it'll be the year.
All right. Well, very cool.
Just,
Well, Ashley,
as long as we can stay away from each other.
Yes. We need to be running each other anymore.
Yeah. Ashley and me, being the crew chiefs for our dads have matched up a pretty good amount of times so far this year. And of course, I raced George in the final for my first Wally at Namibia. And like I said in previous episodes, nobody else I would rather have raced in the final for my first win. Is George is just a stand-up person. So he was the first person that came up to the car when I won and gave me a huge hug, and we shared a beer at the end of the night. So and my last quote, and I say it all the time, is when Uncle Buck was alive and I wasn't president. When I used to run the series racing it, me and George ran each other a lot of times. It seemed to be every first or second round we were matching up with each other on the ladder. And I remember every time I would go over to over there to go figure out what lanes we wanted to run, Uncle Buck would be sitting there in his chair, either taking a nap or going over numbers, and he would come up to me and says, "Rob, you got to look at it this way." He says, one person gets to go on to the next round, and the other person gets to start drinking beer a lot earlier. So
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on and hanging out. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully next year. The summer was a bust for me. But definitely one of the best events on the East Coast, one of the best events I've ever attended. And I look forward to getting back to Cecil County and the Uncle Buck's Pig Roast again sometime soon.
Yes, that'll be great to see you here.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on.
Sure, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a great night.
You too, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. All right, Rob, so tell it. Oh. There's an echo. Oh, it's gone
I think
now.
when you hung up.
Oh, okay. So he sponsors for this weekend at Cecil County for the 29th annual Uncle Buck's Pig Roast. Let's hear it, boy.
Well, we have tons of sponsors. I mean, we have Roadrunner Race Fuels, Christine Romeo Real Estate, and Pour 15 are our title right sponsors. It's pretty much the same guys that we normally have with our series. You know, come 3 weeks of Dave Stein, we're still working on some sponsors here and there, and we'll hopefully have a release schedule here very, very shortly as things are going. We had to adjust some things. We had a meeting last week with the group at Maple Grove, you know, just to fill them in with everything going on, just because the fact is that, you know, they have new ownership. So, you know, what things kind of set in stone with previous management and previous owners, you know, don't go well with maybe newer ones. So we kind of had to go over everything and what the plan was and what we're you know, striving to do in this weekend. And so, you know, we sat down with Kyle and sat down with their track manager Shane and worked out the details, and hopefully we're going to be able to give a great event, not only the Uncle Buck, but, you know, the Dave Stein Memorial event. I mean, you know, if anybody's been living under a rock somewhere along the way, you know, it's going to be the largest payout in .90 history, probably. Thanks to Big Oak Fuel, John Asta, we're up in Super Comp to 12.5, so it's going to be guaranteed cash. 12 grand, $500 to win a Super Comp, 4 grand to runner up. Super Comp, Super Gas and Super Street will be 10 to win, 2,500 runner up. Junior dragsters, thanks to Blitzendorf Automotive, Eastern Raider Motorsports, Josh Graham, and FPC, I think. FCP Motorsports Junior Dragster going to be $850 to win, $350 runner up based on 32 cars, and then Top Sportsman and Top Dragster, $180 entry fee will be based on 32 cars, $2,500 to win, $1,000 runner up. So you know, there's so many people that can just make this work, and, you know, like I said, you know, I hope to see everybody this weekend at Cecil. I know it's a tough tow for a lot of people sometimes. The tolls really aren't the most, you know, most forgiving. But I promise you'll have an enjoyable time when you're there, and it'll be, you know, it'll be something where you make sure that's marked on your calendar for years to come. And then hopefully the Dave Stein race, we're going to do the same thing, and hopefully continue that for years to come.
So just so everybody's clear, Dave Stein race is not a points race for Mid-Atlantic .90, correct?
Yeah. Last year it was part of the points series. Because Dave passed on January 31st of last year. Jeff Stricker, his father-in-law, called me and said that, you know, I want your first .90 race to be the largest paying Super Comp race out there in memory of Dave. And so that's why we did 10 grand to win, thanks to VP Racing Fuels and Roadrunner Racing Fuels. I got some other sponsors on board at that time, you know, AA Auto Salvage, P&L Garage, WT Pipeline Consultants, and we were able to get Super Street and Super Gas up to 5 grand. But I took a feel, I took a census of some of the racers and their feelings after that event. And, you know, I kind of got some feedback from some of the racers that were longtime members, people who had been running with the series for years and years and years, that they weren't really thrilled that the first race of the year, we had a lot of outsiders, I guess you would say, that came in and could really screw with the points, even though it was race number one, whatever it was. So this year when I made my schedule, I made sure that the Dave Stein race was a separated race, non-points, come and just race for money. This way there's no championships on the line. There's nobody saying, oh, well, there was a group of Division II hitters that came in, or a group of Division III hitters that came in and, came to race with that. And, they came in and took all our money and took our points. And, I might not be able to win a championship now. So now there's no ands, ifs, and buts. It's come and runs for some big time .90 money put on the plate to come out, whatever it was. And it's the week before the Keystone Nationals or Pep Boys Nationals or whatever it's called now. It's always been the Keystone Nationals in my heart from when I was a little kid. But I think it's Pep Boys Nationals now. But, there's no reason why you shouldn't be there. I mean, because it's the weekend before the Keystone. You can leave your stuff outside the gate for the following weekend. I actually entered the Keystones. It's like, I'm not a national event guy at all, but it's going to be my second national event, and looking forward to just being 2 weeks in a row at Maple Grove and doing the Dave Stein, having a couple of days of work, and then coming back, Tuesday night for the Keystones. And I said, all you do is just wheel everything right back out to the field, park itself, and then, do whatever you're going to do. If you want to hang out for a couple of days, you're more than welcome to. And then Wednesday, when NHRA comes in and parks you where they want you to park, you're more than welcome. But, unfortunately, things have to come out of the area and then get parked outside for that. But, like I said, we're still looking for, some sponsors, anybody wants to put something else up to help make this even a bigger event. You're more than welcome, or more than welcome to reach out to me. I'd love to bring back the burnout contest. We did a burnout contest last year with Super Comp, the second qualifier. I think we threw $500 up, what it was, for the biggest and longest burnout, and Ken Moses ended up winning that. And I'd love to do something like that again. Jerry Holcomb just threw up $250 for the best overall package for Saturday for .90. So, if we can add more to it, and like I said, we have a couple of things here and there in the works. So really just hope to see you guys come out and support it.
All right, very cool. Like I said, Uncle Buck's Figueroa's this coming weekend, and then in September, the Dave Stein Memorial Race. So, Piggy Trophy, baby, right there. I'm telling you. Been saying that for like 2 years now. I want one. I got the hold one. About as close as I'll get. Anyways, awesome job, Rob. Best of luck this weekend. The weather looks great too. I've been following the weather for you guys and for obviously Lebanon Valley, where I'm headed to. And but I'll check in with you.
Switching here and there.
Sorry?
It's on and off. Saturday and Sunday, keep looking at it. It's there's a chance of a sprinkle here and there. So, I know, but
I mean, granted, you guys got the humidity down there, so I mean, not that we don't, but
we definitely have the humidity at Cecil County, being on the bay. But like I said, thanks, Chris, for having me, and hope to see everybody this weekend at Cecil. Or good luck, up at Lebanon Valley of Vince's races, and stuff. And big thank you to I know you had on earlier, raved about Wayne and all them guys at Lebanon Valley about busting out where it wasn't. But I gotta give a huge shout out to Jimmy and Chad and all them at Cecil County. They bust their ass too and really get races done when their backs are up against the wall. So it's great to have a track like that.
They're doing more improvements too.
Yep.
They're doing seating.
Yep. They're Chad. I kind of knew a lot of the upgrades that were coming on before they were actually announced, or it was Chad. Me and Chad talk ever so often. Chad's their track manager, and he kind of filled me in that they would be getting new scoreboards and the track was going to get resurfaced, and that the next portion of it I think is the stands, and I think they're looking at I think they're looking at possibly new lighting also down the road. I think Yellow Bolt's a huge event for Jimmy and all them, and I think he does very well for Yellow Bullet. He does very well off his streetcar shootout races that are each month. The outlaw car stuff was really that was the birthplace of it, was Cecil County, and I think that was he does very well with that, with his car counts and stuff like that. And I don't want to say it, but I think eventually Jim's got something up his sleeve to maybe try to get a PDRA race there. I mean, I keep saying it, but I'm not, I can't really say it, or I don't know anything that anybody else does or it was, but I think I see the improvements that Jim is making, and being Jim is a diehard PDRA racer, that I can see him probably trying to get a PDRA race there.
Very cool. All right, Rob, get on out of here. Have a great night. And I'm sure I'll talk to you about 10 times between now and Friday, but good luck this weekend at Cecil County for the Uncle Buck's Pig Roast. And I'll be in touch with you.
Tune in. We'll have live racing. You have to listen to me do my live feeds, where it was on the Mid-Atlantic.90 site. So if you want to check out what's going on, and then I'll try to go live from the pig roast too, so everybody can kind of see what's going on there. So, but thanks, Chris. Thanks everybody.
All right, my friend. Have a great night.
You too.
All right.
Thanks again.
Right. You're very welcome. So like I said, we have the Twin 10Ks presented by Dewzen LLC at Lebanon Valley this coming Saturday and Sunday. They have another race on Friday. Got to be there by 3. You have the Mid-Atlantic.90 Association Uncle Buck's Pig Roast this weekend in Cecil County, if you're more down in the southern part of the East Coast. But get out there, do some racing. You got no excuses not to. Have a great night, everybody. We are out of here, and we will be back next Monday night, live and in person at 7 o'clock Eastern. See ya.